Coach Wright brought to me, excuse me, was that you really weren't doing your best until you exceeded your capability. When you exceeded your capability, you were doing your best and giving the most effort that you could possibly give. And I took that, what I learned from him, into every aspect of my life from then on. And I think Mary will agree with that.
I think the one that sticks out the most was my rookie year with the Giants. Harry had gone to the Giants several years before that. And it was a preseason game, and I was about to have my first opportunity, and I was over on the side on a knee collecting my thoughts, and Coach Wright came over and got on his knee next to me and started in a slow drawl about, I remember this young kid that came to Kings Point. I think he had your name, as a matter of fact. And inside of 60 minutes, we were both standing up, and I'm staring in his eyes, and perfect timing once again. The possession changed, and I don't think my feet hit the ground running out to the huddle. In fact, I was the first one out there.
Dad was a mainstay for me. He was a rock, and he was always there for me. And through Dad, we had a pretty exciting life growing up, because as a result, we were much more confident. We were forced to make friends more easily. It turned out to really be an asset, I think, in our adulthood.
He made inferences about courage. You know, where's your heart, where's your, you know, but he never berated or ridiculed a player. He always, you know, challenged us to find the best in ourselves. He looked for self-motivated players.
Brad Davidson's son, see the flag over there? Aim for the flag. So I followed his advice, and the ball hit the flag. Well, that was just too much. He started, I could hear him screaming on the sideline. Never seen that in my life. This is the first. And he ran over, and he started telling the official. And there was a big 5-minute debate between your father and the official in a plea game. The ball's on the 1-inch line. The ball's on the, of course, you know who won that argument. Yeah. So it was put out on the 20. But,
when you were around Harry, you were around somebody, a person who was grounded. You felt very comfortable. You knew he had a formula for doing things, and you felt that the formula was right. He instilled in you a confidence that you may have been able to come along with yourself, but he made you see how you could. He actually brought it out.
He got into your interpersonal self. He knew each one of you. He knew everything about you. It was one-on-one. Before we had the plays and everything else, the offense and the defense, but he got into your inner soul and made you believe you could perform better than you ever thought. You got the best out of him. That was his key. What he could do to motivate an individual player was an experience that was very treasured.
When Harry came, the inspiration there, and what was happening, the winning feeling, the men we play, you know, the boys, the men we were playing with, and the dedication, and believe me, they were dedicated. To say how he was just an inspiration to us. And I think that carried over in not only where we were here as academy students, as cadets, but later on in life. It was another part of our learning.
He took me from an overgrown boy with not a care in the world or responsibility in the world, in about 9 months, to a man who would accept responsibility and do what I had to do to make myself successful.
While Harry was rebuilding our team, he was rebuilding his family. There was Penny, this gorgeous dark kid, teenager, who was taking care of his 4 boys. And we always remember Tommy, the squeaky little voice, always around, scrapping around, and we called him Squeaks. So, in his own personal life, he was rebuilding, having lost his wife. And as Claire was a blonde, ebullient, effervescent personality that cheered us on. She was delightful. So as we rebuilt, he rebuilt his family. So that he became a parent, a friend, and a coach.
Once Claire was in our lives, we went to every game that my father ever coached at Kings Point. There wasn't one that I can recall we ever missed. I don't care where it was and in what weather conditions. I remember freezing my tail off at many a game, sitting in the pouring rain, sleet, you name it, we sat through it, and but it was absolutely wonderful. I wouldn't have missed it for anything.
He would not allow foul language on the field from anybody. Coach Straka would slip once in a while, but he just couldn't help it, right? But Coach Wright tolerated Coach Straka because he had a great deal of respect for Coach Straka. But he wouldn't tolerate it from anybody else. You were not allowed, because he told us his family was going to travel with the team, and he expected us to be gentlemen at all times, and we had to be. But he also had a definition for a gentleman. A gentleman was a guy that would shake hands with you before the game, slap you in the mouth during the game, and shake hands with you after the game.
He was a charmer, and we just were very compatible from day one. And I heard about his children immediately, so I was really surprised. 5 children, that he must be very proud to have 5 children.
And even in high school, I realized his appeal to women, because I can remember father-daughter dances and him coming and all the girls saying, "That's your father?" I mean, all their fathers looked like grandfathers compared to my father, this handsome Harry, as everybody called him. And of course, what do you know? It's your father. You don't think of it that way.
Oh, he was fabulous. Oh, he was a good dancer. I think that's why I married him, because he was a good dancer. I'm kidding. But he was a good dancer.
Well, my father suddenly died at 50 years of age. On July 1, 1959, and I was in Norway on my ship. And I came back to it was an odyssey to get me to the wake. They had to do everything to get me off the plane first, and they were holding everything up. And who walked me up to the casket? Coach Wright.
Well, certainly football was the primary activity revolving around Kings Point, but actually it was so much more than that. I mean, it was an extension of our family.
I had been thinking about having a football reunion probably for 5 years, because as I just mentioned earlier, that the players on the football team were all really my best friends at Kings Point. You know, of course we lived together. We ate our meals together. We practiced together. When we later, as we went into some more summer camps and spring practices, we were staying in Furuseth Barracks together, and we were just like one big happy family.
I felt very bad they were doing this after Coach Scott. Never had the opportunity to tell him how I felt about him, or what he did for me as a person.
Well, I think the one thing I recognize him as high coach, because I always call him coach. And I'd say the one thing that I never did really get an opportunity to say to him when he was living was that I love you.